Namaskar. I am Dada Dharma Vedananda. I was trained as a yogi just a little less than 50 years ago in Benares, India. Need to tell you a little bit about myself so you know who you're watching. And many years ago, I also studied naturopathy through the West Bengal College of Naturopathy in Calcutta. Got my diploma there. And then we started a center. Our first center was this one, which is in Cebu, in the country of Maharlika. Maharlika is the original name of the Philippines. And this center became our training center, and we started many other naturopathy centers in many countries. Now we have 6 centers, we've got a big online program, many things are there. We have programs, other kind of programs in many other countries. Those are all different countries. And we have treated thousands of patients. So that's just a little bit of background about me, because this is my first public video. And the reason why it's the first one is because until now, for so many years, I've been concentrating just on treating people and giving trainings and so on. But now, with the situation of the coronavirus, it has become desperate, even urgent, for some of the information, some of the education, some of the knowledge that we have to be disseminated, so that you can benefit in this very crucial time. So at the same time that I'm happy to present this to you, I'm also, of course, not so happy about what's happening in the whole world, but let's make this into an opportunity for you to improve your lifestyle as you make the effort to minimize the opportunity for the coronavirus to get to you, as you minimize even if you are infected, the symptoms that you'll experience, and so that you can speed up the time of the cure. Over this series of videos, I'm going to be speaking about these different things. I'll be talking about food, I'll be talking about exercise, I'll be talking about water drinking, I'll be talking about oil, I'll be talking about brushing. There's many different things, which are all very practical, very easy to do. You don't have to go out and buy any expensive equipment or even any special supplements. You'll be able to do this not only right now, but these are habits that it will be wonderful if you are able to inculcate in your life. So it is my pleasure to talk about these things with you and to say now that this is a special opportunity that you have in your life, because maybe you're like the same kind of situation as me. I am under lockdown here in Cebu, as are many millions of other people in this country. And I can't even go out, hardly out at all. So this is my nature for you. I hope you like it. It's the best that we could do. And I like these plants, and somehow they like me also. Yeah, so this is while it's a difficult situation, at the same time, it's a very good situation. So today, I want to talk with you especially about sleep and the change that needs to be made if you want to have a strong immune system for most people. Most people, they don't have a good sleeping habit, so I want to talk about how to get a deeper sleep. What is the best time to go to sleep? What is the best time to wake up, so that your life can be really very, very good and the immune system strong? So you will remember, most likely you will remember when you were a child, if your mother was okay around you and everything, when you were a child, whenever you got sick, so what did she say? What did she do? She would give you probably a hot drink, and then she would tell you to go to sleep. And this is because mothers all know that sleeping is the best thing to do when we're sick in order to heal our system. And because if we're not sleeping as much as is appropriate when we're sick, then instead other things will happen. We'll get nervous from the situation, especially if we don't sleep enough or we don't sleep in the right time. If we don't sleep in the right time, and this is the case with, statistically, the vast majority of people, they go to sleep too late. Maybe you have this habit that you sleep too late. So I want to give you some concept about what that does to your health. It's actually really disturbing because it's unnatural. When a person doesn't get enough sleep, then of course their nerves become a little bit gradually more and more frayed. And when the nerves are frayed, then easily misunderstanding will come. Somebody will say to me, if I haven't been sleeping enough, oh, you need to sleep a little bit more. What are you saying, I'll say? Yeah, are you telling me I don't sleep enough? What is your problem? It means my nerves are frayed and I'll start expressing myself in an unbalanced way. So what happens here is that we get a vicious cycle in between not getting enough sleep or poor sleep and stress. And as the stress increases, then it is more difficult for us to get proper sleep. And this just goes on, this cycle like this. Now, when we are feeling stress, as a person will feel increasing stress if they're not getting proper sleep, it's so fundamental, then the body shifts into what happens when one is stressed in nature. That happens in nature because there's some danger. And you know very well, when there's danger, then the person will shift into the fight or flight mode. So when there's the fight or flight mode, then it is necessary and important that the immune system is not overactive in that moment. The immune system doesn't feel the normal pains and aches so that it can run, it can fight, it doesn't want to be disturbed with those things at all. So the system flicks on the cortisol. Cortisol is a kind of steroid. This is a natural thing that happens when you feel stressed. Cortisol will increase, and that steroid effect, it helps you to dull whatever pains and aches you have in your body. You don't feel them. A steroid is, for example, when you've got a runner and his knees are going bad, so then he'll get injections of steroid so that he won't feel the pain in his knees and he can still run. So the cortisol has a similar effect. So as the cortisol increases, the person doesn't feel so much pain, but the stress is still there. And there comes a kind of habituation to the increased amount of cortisol in the body. And as the cortisol becomes more and habituated, it needs actually more stress to maintain it, because cortisol will come as a response to stress. So this is also a kind of vicious cycle, that what happens is that the person is stressed, so cortisol is secreting inside the body. More cortisol, then they'll have to be in a habituated way, like an addicted way, and the person will require more stress. So again, this vicious cycle, which results from not getting proper sleep. And as a result, of course, the immune system becomes very dull, becomes very unable to do its job. And as a result, because the immune system isn't acting properly, even though the cortisol's purpose is to stop inflammation, in various ways inflammation will come, diseases will come. Cortisol doesn't stop diseases, it just stops pain. So the disease is sure to come by using this. In the same way that it doesn't stop the knees from going bad in the runner. The knees get worse and worse day by day, even though if he's using enough steroid, he's not going to feel the pain. So the immune system, this is the most important element of the coronavirus, to deal with the coronavirus. If our immune system, we don't want it to be inactive, we don't want it to be overactive, we want it to be just right, just ready to deal with whatever kinds of problems are coming. Now, what I'm talking to you about, it's coming deeply from all of the yogic science, which is thousands of years old. At the same time, these are very, very well documented and researched by plenty of major institutions in the world, like the University of California in Berkeley, like University of Geneva in Switzerland, like Harvard College. There are so many documents on every single drop of what I'm explaining to you. And then there's traditional folklore. Anyways, there's traditional sayings. For example, Benjamin Franklin's saying that surely you've heard, maybe you didn't know that he's the one who said it, but he says, early to bed, early to rise, makes a human, I'll say, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well-known expression and a lot of sense in it. So a question comes, how much sleep do we need? Well, in that very research that I mentioned, it shows that if a person gets sleep deprived, even for one night, if their normal sleep that they're requiring is 7 to 8 hours, and just one night, the person only gets 4 hours of sleep. As a result, the natural killer cells, which deal with all kinds of immune problems, of sicknesses, including cancer, all those natural killer cells, they become decreased. 70% decreased. It's a dramatic effect of missing sleep even just for one night, even just missing half of your normal sleep. A story comes in mind. It's a true story of a yogi who was so adamant that he would sleep as little as possible every day because he felt that sleep was a waste of time. He used to sleep never more than 2 hours, and he would struggle to be doing work and study and meditation and so on, and sleeping the absolute minimum. And one of his friends, another yogi, used to say to him, you really need to get more sleep. But he wouldn't, and he was getting sick sometimes and so on. And that yogi, the friend of the yogi, one day, he told him, let's go in this room here, I'll come back in a few minutes. He left the room. The room had no chair, had no sofa, had nothing in it. And he locked, this is a true story, and he locked the door, and that fellow couldn't get out. The only thing that was in there was a sofa on the floor, a mattress, a kind of mattress on the floor. And after being stuck in that room with nothing to do and nowhere to go, and he was shouting, let me out of the room, then he had no alternative except to sleep. The next day, when he gave his talk, after the long meditation that they had done, everyone said, whoa, Swami, that was such a fantastic talk. How did you do that? It was brilliant. And he said, I have had a realization. My realization is that, yes, everything of this world is the manifestation of God and needs to be worshipped and like that, including sleep. Now I finally understood that sleep is precious as well. That was a big realization in his life. That's a true story. Now, in my own life, I've had a little bit similar experience. It means to say that there was a time that I was extremely busy, day after day. This went on for about a month and a half, extremely busy touring. I was doing socioeconomic work. I hardly had any chance to get any reasonable amount of sleep any single day, high-level activity and so on. This went on. And I thought, well, somehow I'll manage, because the work was so super important. But as a result of that, I got pneumonia. Because when the immune system is weak, not only any disease can come, but especially diseases can come in the lungs. And coronavirus, just like the SARS virus of so many years ago, it is very much related to the lungs in most cases. So, sleep is so important. Actually, I've gone through 2 epidemics in my life. In another video, I'll talk to you about that. I have the experience, and that experience has showed me what to do when one is affected by the epidemic, and I was able to cure myself very quickly, and in the same way, I was able to help to cure many other persons around me. It was a fantastic experience. Maybe an experience I don't want to have again, but it helped me to learn so much and to be able to show other people. So now, what time do we need to sleep and what time do we need to wake? Well, the first concept which is clear in any research and also among the yogic disciplines is that there should be a very good gap in between your last meal and your sleeping time. That very good gap should be, if possible, at least 2 hours, at least 1.5 hours. And to help that process, the process of the intense digestion, which is taking place just after your last meal, like after any meal, so that you're not affected by digestive gases when you're sleeping. Because if your digestion is going on, then gases are moving in your stomach, and those gases will be disturbing your nerves, and the nerves will be disturbing your brain, and they'll bring all kinds of images and what people will call normally nonsense dreaming. And you have a disturbed, you don't have a deep sleep. So it is important to facilitate this to take a walk after eating. But most of us in the coronavirus, or many of us, due to the quarantine, we cannot go out. So in this situation, I walk inside of a room. I pick the biggest room, open the windows, and move in there continuously for at least 15 minutes. If other people are there, very good, I'll be talking with them. Otherwise, I'll be contemplating. And so this is a crucial thing to start to do. After your last meal, don't start to rest, rather immediately take a walk, a gentle walk, for at least 15 or 20 minutes. So what time to sleep? The best hours of sleep, according to all the research, the deepest hours of sleep are between 10 p.m. and 12 midnight. This is the deeper sleep. It is said even that 1 hour during that time is equal to 2 hours at another time of the night. Whether it's equal to 2 hours or 1.5 hours, anyway, it's precious sleep. So that sleeping time is the most important, and for this reason, the sleep experts say that you should go to bed sometime between 8 and 10 p.m. So it's good if you can aim at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at the latest. Now, I know that's a very big change for so many of you, because you're on the internet, and maybe you're not sleeping until midnight or 1 in the morning, and you're enjoying it, and then you're waking late in the morning. But this is very, very disturbing for the immune system. Early to bed, early to rise. If we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, then that means that if we go to bed, for example, at 9:30 p.m. or 10 o'clock, then you can easily get up at 6 in the morning. Now, according to the yogis, the time when the sun is rising is very, very precious. They say that from 45 minutes before sunrise until 45 minutes after sunrise, this is the time of the maximum available energy from the sun. It's a very, very good time for doing meditation. Peaceful, but very enlivening, vitalizing. And the research has shown that anybody who will wake up late in the morning, regularly wake up late in the morning, they have greater tendency for depression, for pessimism, for negativity. These are research documents. Whereas on the other hand, if one wakes up in a good time, early time, then you become much, much more positive, much more happy, much more able. The student can study much better. These are the normal things. Now, this happens because all beings, all living beings, especially mammals, but really all living beings, we all have in our brain a kind of biological clock in the hypothalamus. And that clock works, and we know how the sun and the moon are moving, especially the sun, even if we are in a room where there's no light from outside. We feel this one. And this biological clock, it directly affects what is called, you may know, circadian rhythm. So this is the rhythm that changes according to the movement of the sun and the moon. And this is happening in all of the animals and even the plants. So if we move in the same rhythm as the circadian rhythm, then we are in nature and everything works very, very nicely. It's a wonderful experience with a small, well, for some of you big, but in any case, it's a change. So maybe you cannot wake at 6, but today, you try to, if you have the habit of going to bed at midnight or later, you just keep trying to make it earlier. Shift your, be practical, we adjust little by little by little, but you've got that target to go to sleep at the latest by 10, and better if you aim even, say, 9:45, like that. So here, back to, let's make really clear about this coronavirus. Any virus, any pathogens, they're most active in the daytime. So it is natural that the immune system is also very active in dealing with external pathogens, enemies, viruses, bacteria, and so on, in the daytime. But in the nighttime, it's not very active like that, and rather it can completely internalize itself, and it can work on healing, and not only can, but it does work on healing everything within the body. It's not paying attention to the outside. It's cooler outside. It's dark outside. In order to get your melatonin flowing in the nighttime, coming from the pineal gland, which surely you've heard of over the last 15, 20 years or so, it's become very well known that the pineal gland is secreting melatonin, and the melatonin is very good for our general well-being, and what you might not know, it facilitates all of the endocrine glands, and when all the endocrine glands are working very nicely, then the whole immune system is working well. So this, to get the melatonin flowing properly, we need to be sleeping at that time. Between 11 p.m. and midnight, especially, it starts to flow, and that will only be if the room is quite dark. So this is another suggestion I'm giving to you in case your room is not dark in the night. Try to make sure that it is. Even so many things change in between the day and the night. For example, the liver, which is the #1 detoxing organ, it shrinks in the nighttime. You might not know that. So when it shrinks, then it's only dealing with itself, not with external stuff that is moving. This is why it's so important for us to have finished eating well enough in advance so the liver doesn't have to be active with dealing with toxins that are coming in from the digestive system. So it can really engage in internal healing and making the immune system stronger and stronger. Now, all the yogic masters, they all say that sleeping in the day and staying awake in the night is the source of maximum diseases, including not only cancer, they're very clear about that, diabetes, high blood pressure, so many, but especially viral diseases, viruses. So if you don't get enough sleep in the night, maybe you have no choice but to sleep in the daytime, but again, it's not a good habit. So we want to try to make it so that our sleep starts early enough, finishes in very good time when the sun is rising, if possible before the sun is rising, but you do it in the way which is most convenient and comfortable for you. You'll see a very, very a beautiful change coming in yourself in this way. And you will understand, for example, if you have the habit of drinking coffee in the morning, otherwise you're not awake and alert, it means you're not getting enough sleep. So the need for coffee, it'll disappear step by step. That caffeine, especially if you drink coffee as late as noontime, it's going to disturb you even in the nighttime. There's still a little bit of it left when you're trying to sleep in the nighttime. So now, if you have insomnia, if you have sleeping problems, now I want to make a little request to you that if you have questions about these things, especially if you have insomnia, please give a little comment below this YouTube and anything else that you want to ask about, because we are going to be deciding upon what subjects we are going to be making our coming parts, our episodes. Definitely I'll be talking about food and exercise and systematic lifestyle, and the more systematic our life can become, the more natural. Strangely speaking, system and nature, they work perfectly together because nature is very systematic itself. And in this way, your energy will go up, your positivity will go up, your health will go up, and coronavirus will be out the door. So I'm looking forward to more and more discussion with you all, and I'm looking forward to explaining everything everything that you would like to know, how to make your immune system stronger, how to avoid the effect of the virus, how to minimize the effect of the virus on your system. I've explained about sleep, and I have other topics that I'll be covering. Thank you. I felt the need to make one little extra clip here, because even in the process of posting this video, I already started receiving some comments that maybe there's a conflict between what Dada Bhadrananda said about lessening the need for sleep and what I have said so far. Let me make it very clear. I completely agree with everything that he had to say. The thing is that at present, it's crucial for all of you that you make your immune system strong. Nevertheless, it is a fact for those who are able to get enough sleep and still get up early, that if you get up, for example, by 5 a.m. in the morning, it's the best time, because that's the time when the vibration is very, very positive, especially when you're doing meditation. I myself, I always get up every single day at 4 a.m. I don't need as much sleep. Now, some yogis, some persons who are doing meditation, longer meditation, intense meditation, maybe they can even get up at 3 a.m. or at 2 a.m. That's fine if they're getting enough sleep. That's very good as long as they're doing sufficient intensive meditation. Now, in the coming videos, I will talk about meditation here and there. I'll explain that it is the ultimate tool for which you can not only get improved health, but everything of your life will become positive. I should also say that even the time of going to sleep, it is different for the persons who do longer meditation. Everything is different for people who do longer meditation. So meditation is key, ultimately. So I'll encourage you also that you can subscribe, you can join into the basic meditation course, which is offered through this meditationsteps.org. I suggest that you subscribe to meditationsteps.org and see that your health, everything of your life is very much improved. The course is for free, and also it would be excellent. I've really enjoyed talking with you. It would be excellent if you were to like, to share, especially to comment. I'll be happy to give comments down below, of course, below the video. I'll be happy to give answers, as many as I can, to your comments. It'd be great if you subscribed, as I said. And you can check out, just below the video, you'll see that there's a link for our new Facebook group, which is into which is called Natural and Yogic Treatments. Thank you very much. And again, namaskar.